when you start out on an internet business, as you know, it's like, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, there's iTunes, podcasting, there's YouTube, you just go on and on and on. So you have to find your thing and just do that for a while. Like, don't worry about all these other things.
Yeah.
Don't worry about being the king of Instagram if you're not really on it. Just start with YouTube or start with a podcast.
Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 87. I have the extreme pleasure of talking to Kevin Koskella. He is the founder of triathletes.com. So very similar, yet different stories, of course, as that of Sarah Duvall, who was on the show a couple episodes ago. And the thing that drove me to interview Kevin is because, once again, he really, really confirms the concept that if you want to go online, which is very popular, right? Online coaching, remote coaching, online programs are all very, very popular right now for good reason, right? They are growing, but you have to find a niche. You can't be like your local market. Well, I'll take anybody who walks into my gym, right? No, you really got to find a niche, and there's still plenty of niches out there. So don't think they're all taken. There's plenty of them, right? But once you do it, you can figure out how to serve these people and you run with it. You really go deep into it, and you will be rewarded, just like Kevin, just like Sarah Duvall, and many, many other people who have found their niche. So Kevin is also now developing a service that helps people with all of the day-to-day tasks that come with running a WordPress site. If you're a great coach, it's probably a good chance you don't really know too much about WordPress, at least if you're like me. And having somebody or a service that you can pay on a monthly subscription that will allow you to do that at a very, very fair rate and take that work off your desk, it's pretty valuable to me. So check it out. Great episode with Kevin. And before we get into it, I want to talk to you about the Fitness Accelerator. So if you go to fitnessprofessionalonline.com/fit accelerator, you'll learn a little bit more. But here's the deal. It is the fastest growing network of fitness professionals that you've probably never heard of. So why haven't you heard of it? Because we're not on social media. This is like the anti-social media. Social media is too cluttered, too noisy, too distracting. I used to go there to join Facebook groups and do all kinds of things and network. It's just too much now. You all know it. You feel it too, right? So we built a community based on intent. You have to subscribe. You have to be a member to get in there. And we are, we're picky with who we let in. So if you want to check it out, you can go to fitnessprofessionalonline.com/fit accelerator, and you can fill out the application. And if you are accepted, we'll give you a 2-week trial. So it's 2 weeks on me. Get into the community, start asking questions, start getting connected. Guys, I've interviewed close to 400 fitness professionals between my 2 podcasts in the last year. And I can tell you right now, our industry, compared to many others, is disjointed and poorly networked, poorly connected. And if you can just make that one connection, maybe somebody with a similar audience as yours, right? Maybe it's an affiliate partnership. Maybe it's somebody who has the answers, who's 2 steps ahead of you in the same process. How valuable is that? And it's amazing. I'm learning so much on a day-to-day basis, and it's off social media too. So I actually save a ton of time because I'm not distracted trying to find the things I need. So go to fitnessprofessionalonline.com, fit accelerator, check it out. If it sounds like something that would benefit you, and it will, because I tell you right now, that old saying, your net worth is in your network. They didn't just make that up. That's true. So get in there and get network, get connected, but you got to fill out the application. We're very selective. So fitnessprofessionalonline.com/fit accelerator. Check it out. Now on to the show number 87 with Kevin Koskella. Enjoy. Kevin Koskella, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Eric. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. We're both have very similar backgrounds, swimmers, aquatics, chased a black line for a large portion of our lives. And now we're in the online fitness space. So people are probably tired of my story. So let's talk about yours a little bit, man. Give us some backstory on people who don't know you and kind of how you got to where you are now.
Sure. Yeah. So I started a website called Try Swim Coach back in late 2003. So pretty early on internet business days. And it came about because I used to be a swimmer growing up, like we talked about. And I never really did anything with it. I never coached. I just kind of like left swimming, and I was a competitive swimmer through college and left swimming without really doing anything with it other than just, competing at the time. And, but I was doing some masters swimming just to keep in shape at the time. And I was like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to be a master's coach, like coaching adult swimmers, 18 and over. And I started doing that. It was a lot of fun. I actually loved it. And then I decided to start doing swim lessons, like swim lessons for adults. And there's a lot of need for that. So I had pretty much unlimited business. I mean, there's all kinds of people that haven't learned to swim or that just want to get better at swimming for whatever reason. And so the business was, I could be as busy as I wanted to be, but I had to be there in person giving lessons, and the money, not that great. I mean, I think I was charging like $30 for like an hour lesson. And, if you fill up your day, you can make a living doing that, but you're going to be exhausted. And that's what was happening with me. And, what came about was that a lot of people that were coming to me were triathletes. And so I was like, I wonder if there's anyone that's teaching specifically triathletes out there, like online. And it turns out there wasn't a whole lot of help for them. So I decided to start, kind of looking into this niche of triathlon swimming. I had done a couple triathlons myself, but I wasn't like a big time triathlete or even a small time triathlete. I just found that niche, and there seemed to be a lot of people. So anyway, that's how Try Swim Coach was born. So I started the website with just putting workouts up for people that were doing triathlons, and I was kind of giving them swim tips. And I built that site up to where I started getting followers. And the way I did that was I kind of just positioned myself as an expert, even though I had there was no reason for me to do that. It was like, I hadn't coached anybody. Nobody knew who I was. I swam at a Division II school. It wasn't like I didn't go to the Olympics or anything. So that's how it started. It was just like, I'm an expert. Like, tell me I'm not. I know 5% more than everybody else that's teaching. So, or that's trying to learn this. So, So that's how it started. And then the site, eventually I wrote an ebook on triathlon swimming, and then fast forward a little bit, that became a DVD. And then fast forward to more recently, that became a membership site. So that means that people join, they pay, they join, and then they get content that can train them for a triathlon swim. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and we can get into details on it or not or whatever.
Yeah. So when did you start this? Like, what year did you get started in the online space?
Yeah, it was December 2003. And I had no idea what I was doing at that time. I had no technical skills. I couldn't design anything. And so I started with just hiring people on, that time it was elance.com.
Yep.
And I hired someone to design just a really basic website. And I kind of learned some things like how to create a PDF file. I didn't know any of that stuff. And just learning little by little, and then eventually turning it into like a side business. So yeah, I mean, it was just early on. I had the lucky advantage of being able to use Google Adwords at a really cheap rate. I mean, it was like 5 to 10 cents per click. I could convert people onto my lists, like for a quarter or something like that. And so I was using a lot of that as well. And that's now it's a completely different game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting, man. And, when I hear your story, and we are definitely going to dive into this because I think online coaching is where so many people want to go. I hear this so many times as the personal trainer who's been charging X amount for, $30, $40, $50 an hour. And then they're just burning out because you can't it's not sustainable, right? You can't do that for 40 hours a week and do it. The average lifespan I talk about all the time is 8 years for personal trainers. So at some point you have to start thinking about, how do I leverage myself and my time? And the online space is the obvious thing. And I think, it's so interesting because you got in early, right? You really did. You found a niche and you got in early. You start building this thing, and now it's one of those things that just runs runs for you. I'm sure it takes a lot of work still. I'm oversimplifying it, but it just, goes to show if you get in at the right time with the right crowd, you're going to do pretty well. Do you think there's opportunities like this still out there, Kevin, for, finding a niche like this and running with it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think it's not like, like a stock or something where, oh, you got into Apple in, 1995 or something. And so it's too late now. It's actually the internet. The good thing about internet business is it changes so fast and so often that there's always new ways to break into markets, no matter what it is. And even with like this whole idea of triathlon swimming, it's a niche. Now I talked about how when I got into it, I didn't see a lot of competition. There were people doing things, but it was just like, I could see they weren't doing, there were people publishing books and things like that. But online there wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's always opportunities because since then I've had several competitors come up and some of them are doing quite well in the swimming niche. And they've done things that I didn't do. And, for a while there, I got into real estate investing. So I started kind of getting away from my internet business and into real estate. And then during that time, there was a few people that came up and started taking over like YouTube, because I had a YouTube channel, but it just wasn't doing much. I put a video up once in a while, but YouTube was dominated by other people and they took over, and those guys are doing great now. A couple different companies. And now, like going to today, what's going on, there's another guy that just started a triathlon training business. And he was just doing like videos of him training and kind of making them goofy. And he started getting into video editing. And it turns out like his style, a lot of people just for whatever reason loved his style. And he started gaining this big following, and he's got a membership site. He's doing really well. He's got like, I don't know how many followers, but like he's got a lot of followers. And he came out of, like maybe 2 years ago started and doing quite well now. So, I mean, there's all kinds of examples in any niche, because even if you do almost the same thing as somebody else, if it's something like this, like coaching, online coaching, you are doing it in a unique way and your personality is different. Like some people want a personality that's like rah and flashy and like, go get them and all that. I don't have that personality. So like, if that's what you want, then I'm not the person to follow. Yeah. But there's certain other things that I do that other people are just not doing. So it really depends. But I think in terms of coaching, it's a great thing to do online because of that fact that you as a coach are unique and you've got different things to offer and, all that. So,
yeah. So do you know how big is your market? I mean, of like, triathletes, I guess we would probably be more on the recreational side, not super competitive or professional, right? Do you know how big that market is?
Yeah. I mean, there's like, it really depends on how you look at it. You can look at the Facebook numbers, which I think there's like 6 million in the United States, but that doesn't mean that there's 6 million triathletes. That means that 6 million people indicated that they are interested in triathlon. Yeah. So that number could be off by a little bit, but, then worldwide, it's more like, I think it's like 16 million. So that's not tiny, and maybe that's a little exaggerated because Facebook, people jump in, they're like, oh, I like triathlon, and they never do one or whatever. But that's it is a big market. You can look at the numbers on USA Triathlon, which is they and that's something that more serious athletes will join. So it's not exactly accurate, but it's definitely in the millions, and you just take a small percentage of that and you have a business. Yeah.
That's the thing is, we, when you look at getting people, we help people get into online coaching as well. And we always say, do the keyword research, like just find out how many people are searching for a triathlon swim program. Right. Or, one that I was like, cause you'll find this interesting is I was like, I just haven't had time to do it, but I've always wanted to do, strength training for water polo players. Cause that was my sport. Yeah. So I started doing some keyword research, and I was like, okay, that's actually a terrible idea because no one's searching for it. Yeah. But that being said, dry land for swimmers was a very popular term. So I could have easily pivoted and marketed myself, bought that domain, whatever it was. Someone's probably going to steal this right now listening to it.
They're like, but that's okay. Like someone could steal it and then you could still do it. And, and the bottom line is most people that like with ideas, most people, even if they think, oh, this is a great idea, they're never going to do anything with it anyway. No.
So. Yeah, just like me, for example. I'm like, oh, what a great idea.
Yeah.
When would I ever do it? I don't have time. Right. So, yeah, interesting. And you, so you mentioned Adwords, right? I think that is something, I mean, we do a lot of Adwords as well. But I think that's a very mystical, I mean, everyone they look at paid advertising and they're like, oh, Facebook ads, right? Give us some insights on AdWords, because I think maybe people are intimidated by it because it's unknown. It's a little bit more complicated, the interface, to get started. But give us some insights on how you utilize AdWords to build your list. I think that's a really cool point.
Yeah. And we'll put that, it's in the past tense because I don't actually use AdWords now at this point. And I can tell you why. But yeah, so in the early days, it was, I was advertising on AdWords, not for sales. Like I started with sending them to my sales page, but that didn't really work that well. But I was building my list with AdWords and just I had some offer back then. I don't remember what it was, but maybe it was like swim lessons, online swim lessons.
Yeah.
And so I was getting people to just click in and join my list. And it was AdWords, and there were like, back then it was like there were free ways to do the similar. Like you could just add your domain name to a list somewhere, and then all of a sudden you'd have all these people joining because they found you, and it was quite different. But yeah. So I targeted mostly people to join my list, and then a little bit of eventually I did get into like sending them right to the sales page, and I had some success doing that. But then, like I was saying, like I took a couple of years I explored real estate investing, and then AdWords just got away from me. It was like I used to pay, like I said, 10 cents a click or something. Yeah. And then I came back to it a few years later, and it was like, wait, those same clicks are $1 now? Like I have no idea how to monetize that. So I tried it a little bit, and I just was like, I don't get it. So I stepped away from that, and I went to Facebook, like kind of early on somewhat in Facebook ads, but that's been much better. And it's 5 or 6 years going, it's still working.
Yeah. So how does your, this is the digital marketing. I mean, how does your escalation go from like, acquiring, I guess an email all the way through to sale to upsales? How does that look with your process now? Because I know you're tweaking it as well. We had talked about that, which never ends, right? You're always tweaking.
Yeah, of course.
How does that whole client flow look for you? "Quote unquote" funnel, right?
Yeah. So it starts with so I have Facebook ads that go out to people, and it changes. The audience changes all the time because one audience will work for a while, and then it'll just sort of burn out, and then I have to switch to another audience. So a lot of times it'll be something like, let's say I pick like the interest that people have on Facebook, and it'll be triathlon plus running. That's one that I've used in the past, and then everybody that has those in their profile will see an ad, and the ad is 3 swim lessons to get better at triathlon. So it's like you just click the download button, and then you opt into the list, and then you get these 3 lessons. And the 3 lessons are delivered via email, and each one is one email per day. And then at the end of that sequence, so it's 3 emails, they get a video with that and everything. And at the end of that sequence, I have an offer to join my membership site. And so then that goes on. So there's 4 emails initially. Then there's a sales sequence. Then it goes into another sequence of, here's all the amazing things about our site and what people are doing. And, I can get into some of the details of that, but it's basically like testimonials and things that get people interested in joining. And then if they still don't buy at the end of that, then they go into another sequence of emails that are teaching them a little bit more, just like tips and things like that. And then, and this has changed completely. Like you said, like you're always tweaking it. Like I've tweaked this so much and seeing what the best open rates are and where to put each email in the funnel and all that. Yeah. But then they get I think it's about 15 more emails with tips, and each one has a link to buy. And then after that, they go on to I call it my daily email list, but it's not exactly daily. It's like 3 or 4 times a week. I send an email to everybody on the list. And that one is more like me spontaneously writing an email having to do with coaching or swimming or just philosophy, or it could be anything. Or it's one of my coaches that work for TriSwim Coach that writes the email. So,
okay. Interesting. Yeah. And then once people are on your membership site, how much maintenance does it take for you personally? Like how many hours per week do you have to put into that? And are you doing individual coaching as well?
Yeah. So yeah, the membership site it's pretty much like it's done. Like I don't go in and do a whole lot with it at this point. So how it works is they can join. We have an annual. Now we just changed it, so it's a little bit different. But we have basically an annual membership. They can join for the whole year, and then we have a monthly. So they can go. So the annual. Now this is recording, whatever, August of 2018. Prices are probably going to change, but they can join at, depending on what their level is, they can join at $97 or $397. And with the $97 one, there's an option to do a monthly subscription. So what they get with that monthly is more hands-on coaching. So they have the ability to send in their video, their swimming video, and then the coaches will review it and give them feedback and everything. And that's $997 a month. And so, yeah, so some people join just the basic level. Some people get the extra coaching. And then other people get this bigger package, which includes even more coaching. So yeah. I don't do individual coaching anymore. I'm strictly online. So I don't show up on pool decks. I've done a lot of that over the years. And the last thing I did was swim clinics where we get like, let's say 10 people and maybe it's a weekend or a 1-day clinic. But I haven't done that even in a while. So for me, it's strictly online.
Yeah. Awesome. So you mentioned you have some coaches that work underneath you as well, or with you.
Yeah. I have coaches that work with me. Now they're independent as well, but then they get rewarded for the things that they provide to Tri Swim Coach. So.
Okay. Awesome. So here's the big question, man. If you are, put yourself in the shoes of someone who's a coach or a trainer right now who has an idea to serve a particular niche, right? What is your advice for them on how to get started? Maybe they're in that same situation where you were working for $30 an hour and your time was just getting compounded, right? You just didn't have enough. What's your advice, knowing now, in 2018, kind of how things are different? Would you have changed your processes, if you're going to go through it again?
I wouldn't change much of I think I would actually take advantage more of like Adwords, because I think I was very conservative and I was like, I don't know if I can spend that much, but knowing my numbers would have been much more profitable for me. So yeah, really knowing the numbers I think would be important. But yeah, as far as someone that's starting now, there's just so many tools that you can use now. Like for example, podcasting. Mm-hmm. When I started, that wasn't around. And even when podcasting came around, I started a podcast kind of early on and it really didn't do much for me. But then as the time went on, it was like, it grew like crazy because all of a sudden people were discovering podcasts, and there's a lot of people, they call them tri-geeks out there. They just want to hear everything that has to do with triathlon. So I got a lot of people from iTunes subscribing, and then they hear about it and then they go to the site. Yeah. But yeah, using things like you're doing YouTube videos. I think it's like you have to find a way to get your voice heard out there. And like we talked about this idea of like, even if someone has the exact same idea, you can still do it because you have a unique voice. And so whatever way that you can have people hear you, and if it's writing or if it's podcasting or video or Facebook Live. I have yet to do a Facebook Live. I don't know, for some reason I have like this resistance to it, but there's so many things like that are always coming out and always changing. And if you could find the one that you like, that works for you, and that also is like somewhat cutting edge, so you're ahead of the curve a little bit. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. And there's so many different things that you can do, and that it's easy to get overwhelmed because when you start out in an internet business, as you know, it's like there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, there's iTunes, podcasting, there's YouTube, you just go on and on and on. So you have to find your thing and just do that for a while. Like, don't worry about all these other things. Yeah. Don't worry about being the king of Instagram if you're not really on it. Just start with YouTube or start with a podcast and just grow it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's, when it comes down to getting your voice out there and creating content, it's inevitable. You can't start an online business without producing content now. It's just people need that know, like, trust continuum needs to take place somehow. And if you're not, working with someone one-on-one on a pool deck, the only way to do that is really just getting out there and producing content and booking times. That's why I love podcasting too, for people who are listening, is because now I know Kevin, right? I know Kevin. I know more about his business. If there's opportunities for us to work together down the road, we have that now, because we've communicated, and I have a good feel for who he is. You don't always get that through some of the other ways. It's very one way with the other mediums.
Right.
You're just pushing stuff out there. You don't get that interaction back. And I know as of August 2018, when we're recording this, is Instagram TV is now really making a push to be complementary to a YouTube. And who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that seems to be one where people are kind of flocking to. I always, there's always that thing is you want to be the early adopter, but then again, kind of want to wait back and see. I would have loved to got into podcasting in 2008. That would have been great, but I just wasn't there.
Yeah, it could be like, what was the live video? I can't remember the name of it now, because it was like 3-4 years ago. It got really popular for about 6 months. There was Snapchat. There was that. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, no, there was the other one that was connected to Twitter.
Vine?
No, not Vine. There was a one that came out. It came up, and all the marketers were talking about it for about 6 months, and like, you got to get on this, and then it sort of just faded away, and Facebook Live came up, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, here's we can talk about this all day, because I go. What I love about, podcasting, blogging, is it's evergreen content. When you do Facebook Lives, it's out there. Or, YouTube, the same thing. It's evergreen. It's always there. And people are going to start searching it. And who knows, 5, 6, 8, 10 years from now, some blog or some, podcast or some YouTube video that you posted may find the right person, then you have a client, And so I never turn down a podcast interview, even like if someone's just getting started, because you don't know where that seed that you just planted could be in 5 years. It's so worth your time. But I'm resistant to Facebook Live as well, not necessarily because I don't mind getting on talking about whatever, but I feel like it's gone. I mean, it is hosted on
Facebook,
social, but
and that's Facebook in general. I think that's the challenge, is that. So it's kind of like YouTube is a little bit harder to break into, because you've got a lot of competition. But with Facebook, and not just Facebook Live, but just Facebook video, it's the same thing. It's like you'll put out your video, and then a whole bunch of people see it, and then the next day it's completely gone.
Yeah.
And so it's like you could get way more views on Facebook, but they won't. A day later, nobody will see it. So
yeah. I mean, they control so much of what you see and who you see and when you see it. Right. It's wild. It's an interesting thing. So where do you see all this going for you? Like, Kevin, where do you see in the next 2 years? How do you see this evolution for you?
Yeah. So I've actually started a new business, and I don't know if you want me to talk about that at all, but yeah. So I over the years, one of my struggles, like I started out talking about, is that I haven't been technical, and I'm not a designer. So when you run an internet business, sometimes that can be a challenge, because you have to constantly recruit help. And so I've done that over the years. I've found people to fill in different places in my business and pay them. And sometimes it's worked out great. Other times it's like been a struggle. And so because I've done so many interviews and I've hired so many people and worked with people like in various realms, I wanted to start a business that would help people like in those areas. And so I ended up doing that. The idea of the business was actually first going to be, I'm going to do everything. Like, we'll have people that do your social media, your SEO, your video, and then I'm like, no, let's just stick with the things that are really hard, that stop people from like progressing in their business. And that's the technical WordPress tasks, and then the design, just like ongoing designs.
Yeah.
And so my business, it's called Work Hero. And so we have teams that do tasks for people. And so we offer unlimited tasks for business owners. And so that means that they sign up for a monthly fee, and then they get to submit as many tasks as they want. And we have teams that will complete those tasks. Wow. And, the way it works is like, you can start with 3 websites. If you're running more than one website, up to 3 websites, you can submit 3 tasks at a time and just rank them in priority. And then we'll just start working through them. Usually it takes like less than a day to do the task, but sometimes a little bit longer depending on what it is. But it's a lot of different things. Like with a WordPress blog, everybody will tell you, oh, WordPress is easy. It's the best thing. It is the best thing for a lot of reasons, but it's not easy. And if you're not if you're not technical, it can be a total pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So we'll work on, like, we'll fix things. We'll install plugins. We'll check and see why, if your site is slow, like we can speed it up. Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So is this like, well, I guess my big question is, how is this different than if I went to Upwork? How is this better than just going and doing that?
Yeah. So we have everything in one place. So you don't have to hire like VAs to do different things or assistants to do different things. And you don't have to manage the team. All you have to do is be comfortable sending an email and then it's done. So it just makes the whole process a lot easier and automated, saves you time. And in the end, it's going to cost you less money if you have those ongoing tasks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the big thing is, hiring people, if you're hiring people off Upwork, you're always kind of rolling the dice, right? On what you're going to get. And to find good ones, it takes time. You have to do it's just like anything else you have to do. You can't just go post a job. I mean, you can't just go post a job, look through the 50 responses that you're going to get. Most of them are automated responses anyway, right? And then like if you're really doing it well, you have to go, we have a whole, system that we go through, which includes 3 interviews, how exactly you post your job posting, like the wording and how you do it and how you conduct all of the interviews and the sequence that you do. It's freaking time consuming. It really is. And I look at your solution, I'm like, oh man, if I'm a solopreneur and I'm just getting started, all I need is someone to help me with, WordPress and make sure everything is up to date and running the way I want and, tweaking landing pages and doing things like that. And then, any other technical tasks that I just don't have time or nor want to do or know how to do. This sounds like an amazing solution.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah. I think it works for a lot of people. And I don't know if it's actually, I want everybody to check it out that's watching this, but it may not be for the total newbie beginner that doesn't have a website. I mean, it's definitely not for someone that doesn't have a website. It's if you already are going, but you're kind of running into these blocks in those areas.
Yeah. So give me some examples. Like what would be a client that would work for you that would be ideal for this type of workflow?
Yeah, we have like coaches that come to us, and not necessarily like fitness coaches, but just any kind of coaches, because they usually have ongoing things. And that's the key is like, if they have Facebook ads running, they need designs. If they have anything with WordPress that changes on a regular basis, they will need the technical help. So, and then even just posting blog posts, things like that sometimes can get kind of, like you'll put something up and then you're all of a sudden the formatting just gets completely screwed up or the image isn't going in the right place, things like that where we can totally get to those things. So coaches, we also work with people that are running agencies. So I didn't even see this coming, but we have customers that are agencies and they have ongoing work. So, larger businesses and then all the way down to like the solo entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So what are some of the costs that you guys do on a subscription basis?
Yeah, it is. And again, like this could change because we're, this is going out in August, but right now it's just $247 a month. And then if you want to do an annual, if somebody knows that they're going to have tasks for the rest of the year or for another year, then you'll save about $50 a month that way. So it's about $197, I think. And then, so that's basically the cost. And then we have a 14-day free trial as well. So you can check it out. Do the 14-day trial. If it doesn't work for you, then cancel it and we're all good. Yeah.
Wow. $247, you get how many tasks or hours for that work?
It's unlimited. Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. That's incredible. I think you just earned yourself a client.
Check it out, dude.
I mean, between all of the podcasts that I put out and all the tasks that I need done, I have a virtual assistant, but I'm just about tapping her out and, pay her more considerably than this would be. So what a great solution, man. That's fantastic. And the website is workhero.com or what do you say?
It's useworkhero.com.
Okay. Yeah. You guys listening, that's a stellar deal. And so smart for you to bring that up. I mean, it just really, I mean, I haven't even used it. I don't know yet, but I could just, from hearing about it, I think you've really found, a great need in the market for something like that. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Well done. Very entrepreneurial.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, we're kind of running to the end here. Is there any other particular topics or things that you're up to right now that you'd like to share?
I think here's something that I'm looking for is I've been traveling a lot, like the last 2 months, I've been doing a lot of travel. And what happens is, because we're talking about fitness, is that it's very easy to just kind of slide with just everything, working out, exercising, keeping in shape. And so I don't know, maybe that's already out there, but something like travel, staying fit while you travel would be awesome, because I'm like, I do these little routines in I'm renting an Airbnb here, and I don't know, it's okay, but I feel like I'm getting flabby and I feel like I'm losing my muscle and just completely getting out of shape. I mean, now I'm in Europe, so I do a lot of walking, but it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like it just doesn't feel like enough. If there was something that was like, okay, this is how you can spend 20 minutes a day and stay in amazing shape while you travel, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat too. I've been traveling. My wife and I have been nomadic for essentially a year, and I found it really hard to get in routines, because I was such a routine person up to that. It's like I could tell you exactly where every minute of my day was going to be spent Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday at noon. Right. And now all I have, I have a kettlebell, at least, I have a 53-pound kettlebell that I can bring around with me. So that makes for easy workouts, but it does get difficult, especially because I think we're in the same age bracket, roughly. How old are you? I'm 41. How old are you?
Oh, 47.
47. Yeah. So things get a little bit more challenging once you hit 40. I didn't see that I should have seen it coming as being
the worst. The worst is the injuries. It's just like, where do these come from? Like they don't go away somehow.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, there you go, people. There's another idea for you. You got two men in their 40s who could use some help. So
absolutely.
Both know a lot about fitness and nutrition. So Kevin, where do people find out more about you now?
Yeah, so with the swimming, it's triswimcoach.com. And then for the technical and design tasks, it's useworkhero.com. And you can find me on Twitter, and I have Instagram as well, but I don't know if people are interested in that. I mostly post like travel photos and stuff like that. So
cool. Well, Kevin, I appreciate you coming on, man. This is really insightful, I'm sure, for a lot of people who are looking to get into the online space. And, there's so much opportunity there, and it's still a major land grab. You just got to find what that niche is that you want to serve. And then you just laid out very basic steps on how to get there. So it doesn't, it's simple, but it's not easy, I'm sure. But now at least people have a little bit of a roadmap to get there. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great being on. And I love what you're doing. I think that the key to just going to end with this is that not to get overwhelmed, because that's what I see with the beginner internet business people is they get overwhelmed so quickly. And it's like, like they start on this thing that looks awesome at first. And then it's like, oh, I can't do this because of whatever. But just don't get overwhelmed. Do one thing at a time. There's that book, The One Thing, just do it like that. And then you'll be set.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Koskella.
Thanks, Eric. Cheers.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. It's your host, Eric Malzone, and I have a quick favor to ask. Actually, 3 favors. So, number 1, if you're a fan of our show, I ask you to do something that takes under 3 minutes. Go to iTunes, please, and subscribe to our show. Please, please, please. It means so much to us. It's so important. And then give us a favorable review. We would really, really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much it means and helps us out. So I know it takes 2 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us. So please do that. Number 2, go to our YouTube channel, or Fitness Marketing Alliance, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Number 3, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've released, share it on social. That's huge. That's a big deal for us. And we put a lot of work into these episodes, trying to give you great actionable content for the fitness industry. So that would mean a lot. And that's it. So we have some big plans coming up for this show. I'll be talking about that in the next couple episodes, but thank you so much for listening. It means so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from everybody. Eric, ERIC @fitnessmarketingalliance.com.